Hello everyone. Hello. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Naomi. I'm 61 years young. I'm an artist and a painter for more than 20 years. I've been writing poetry since I was 16 and have been practicing photography as a hobby to the point of making it my main focus when on outings and holidays. I must admit sometimes to the frustration of some accompanying me. I believe I must have started macrobiotics since that was the second door open to me in the alternative world after homeopathy. And as we say, the rest is history. Until today, doors keep opening and the journey is always and keeps on being very enriching. Now, if you choose to, we could start by taking a pencil and paper and express through a drawing what macrobiotic means to us. Feel free to use crayons if you want, chalk, watercolor, acrylic, or oil paint, but keep in mind that oil paint is very hard to clean. So there are no rules. It could be a simple sketch, brush strokes, soft or energetic, darker or lighter shades, abstract or realistic. Don't worry about perfection. The best drawings are kids' drawings because they draw through impulse and seldom let their brain interfere. They draw what they want, not what they think. The famous artist Marc Chagall said, if I create from the heart, everything works. If from the head, almost nothing. So I invite you to let your pencil or brush take over. Let it speak for you and through you. Let your heart be connected to your brush. Don't hurry. It can take 3 minutes longer, you decide. And once you've finished, take a step back and see. See it with the eyes of an onlooker. You might be surprised at the outcome. Is anybody interested to express what they feel macrobiotic means to them through drawing? Wow.
Gretchen, do you have something to say?
Oh, sorry. No, it's just a concept I'd never considered before. So
Yeah.
it's going to require some further pondering.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. The only way I could express my feelings in when I'm on macrobiotics is a big sunflower I drew once, and that is the feeling I get when I'm on macrobiotic. Was it Sharon Rothman that showed a picture? What would that mean to you?
It feels to me like a very quick expression of centered, an opening up to all possibilities. That's how I feel about macrobiotics.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I'm just going to talk about that as well. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I just celebrated my 80th birthday.
Wow, congratulations.
And Michael Rossoff is my counselor. So I'm very happy to see him today and to meet you.
That's nice. Thank you.
I would never give you 80 years. It's not a compliment or a non, it's just never would I have. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Where does she live?
I live in New Jersey.
Yay.
in New Jersey.
Thursday, yes. Yes.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Too
For
close
how long are you macrobiotic?
I think about 40 years now.
Wow. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that explains it.
But you know, it's for me, it's an up and down life.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I always had food sensitivities, and emotions are part of that, of the reaction. So just to be in a balanced place for me is like heaven. So
So it's amazing because that's precisely what I'm talking about today. It's
yes,
amazing.
yes. I'm also an artist. So.
Oh, that's that's yeah. It connects, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to take any more time. But I just wanted to say that I think that creativity is in every part of life, and you don't have to be an artist to be an artist.
Exactly.
I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Thank you. May I go on? Yeah? Okay. Now I would like to broach the topic of beginnings and the isolation that might, I say might, accompany it for some as a result, because it's not everyone that might feel like that. In my experience, I found the switch from ordinary life to macrobiotics quite daunting. But I was young and ready and up for the challenge. The only example that comes to mind as to illustrate the magnitude of the task is, let's say, for example, if people are familiar with that example, someone decides to change their kitchen from non-kosher to kosher and has to go through the whole process of cashiering literally everything. And for me, changing to macrobiotic felt like I was going through that process of literally cashiering my mind. It was very daunting. How? By having to change everything, my upbringing, meaning our childhood recipes, which we were accustomed to, creating new ones, borrowing some, inventing others, introducing new tastes to my family, trying to get them on board, which wasn't plain sailing, to say the least. Sometimes it felt like being the only one on the ship. The isolation I mentioned earlier came from generally feeling different from the whole world. Today, veganism is so widespread, we blend more, not then. And in those days, we didn't have the communication facilities that we have today either. A simple but not small detail. How do you keep on inviting people at your table with macrobiotics? Will they like it? No, I don't think so. Not in my experience, at least. It's just too different. So you have to find a way around it. Sometimes it works, others it doesn't. But each and every one of you will eventually succeed in finding the tools that suits you, because it's a personal journey. There are no clear-cut answers that will suit everyone. Now you might ask yourself, why on earth did I start macrobiotics? Well, I had undiagnosed asthma until it was discovered 20 years later. But meanwhile, I knew something was amiss. Something was up when I couldn't walk more than 20 minutes without ending up wheezing and being out of breath. That's when my journey actually started. For me, it was a long one. Unfortunately, maybe I like to take the scenic route. To some, it might seem appealing, but it's much, much longer. There was a lot of frustration, but I felt I had no other choice. I wasn't going to live with an inhaler in my pocket until my body no longer reacted to it. And as my doctor put it, I could find myself in the emergency room with no guarantee of making it. At times, I felt literally like crawling up the walls in exasperation. Fast forward, I went through ups and downs. I fell and picked myself back up again. And at the time, I couldn't see the purpose in falling that often. But today only do I understand. Falling taught me how to read my body, observe the before and after, collect the information and know, why am I doing this? Why am I choosing to do this? With every fall, my conviction grew. Even if it was minimal or unnoticeable at the time, nevertheless, my list of plus points grew. It is so important to embrace that experience, especially to accept the imperfect side of us, accept being human. Having it right all the time would have made of us robots or angels. Being human is an entirely different story. We fight what we call failure because we've connected it with loss or losing, but every time we fail, we gain. Remember that every time we fail, we gain. Maybe not in that second, but later. And until today, it is the only way we found how not to fail. By the third or 10th time, we will get it finally right. Why? Because we've had collected data. The more we have it, the further on our way we are. You can call it the climbing the ladder of life, if you like, slowly climbing our way up, reaching one level at a time. Now, I'd like to delineate the process of my journey towards body awareness. I noticed that when I allowed myself to introduce back into my life healthy snacks, in what is considered healthy snacks in health food stores, symptoms came back, not right away, but eventually. That's how I slowly collected my data. That is how I was building my conviction as why I want and choose to live this life. I got to observe not only the physical influence on my body, but I realized as well with time that macrobiotic keeps one centered and focused. It gives a certain mental discipline, which was the last thing I expected or noticed for a long time, as I'd never heard or read anything about it in books. Most of us our age by now have accepted that life is life. It happens, and it surely doesn't ask us permission. Life is a bit like an orchestra. Or we conduct it with ease because we have secured a certain technique, or we are all over the place with it because our brain is too. So when I found myself with no option but to get back to eating within the boundaries of Macrobiotic, it took me 3 months to start seeing a difference. All the minor physical ailments stopped bothering me and vanished after approximately 6 months. And by then, a new person, re-energized and consolidated. Obviously, everyone might react differently. It's not all black and white. Here, I'd like to add a small reminder, is Macrobiotic is not only finding the foods that suits your health history, a big part consists of especially having a healthy relationship with the food you eat and the food in general. There will always be amazing days and days when we have to gather and secure our tools to deal with what comes up, as it usually is in life. But all in all, the sacrifice of having to let go of what we call normal food is far less and lighter than not finding ourselves in unity and in synchronicity with life. Besides the fact that we are piling up savings in our health account for hopefully a smoother pension. Now, I'd like to expound on how I gathered information Not only did I have time to observe my body changes, as I've mentioned above, but I have to read a lot and immerse myself fully in whatever is in front of me. I explore and try to understand as much as possible and have applied that procedure with all the subjects and methods that came and still come my way. Having said that, I'd like to approach the multifaceted subject of an alternative life and macrobiotics very briefly, as it's a very vast subject. So let's try to open it in as short and as simple way as possible. As I said previously, I felt compelled to read as many books available to me when confronted with major decisions in life to gather a maximum of information. And one of them was on neural plasticity, to understand how the brain works regarding habits, good, bad, or simply different. I discovered how habits create neural pathways. In short, I quote Google, neural pathways are every thought you think and every feeling you feel. It strengthens the circuitry in your brain that is known as neural pathways. They are a basis of your habits of thinking, feeling, and acting. They are about what you believe to be true and why you do what you do. But from my standpoint, I found it a necessity to understand how one can undo old habits and build new ones, as by introducing them to our brain and exercising them long enough to the point of integrating it in a permanent way. But that's a whole subject on its own, so I'm just really approaching this on the surface. Nevertheless, I finally understood the role of the higher and lower brain and the purpose of both. Once I'd assimilated that knowledge, it helped facilitate my journey. It more or less clicked. It made sense, at least to me. You might be presented with different situations or the same ones with slight differences, but if my journey could help even one person, I'd feel honored to have had the privilege of contributing. Over and above, keep in mind that we are very diverse. This is my personal journey, the tools I've collected for myself. We are very different from one another, which is good. We would have been very bored had we all been clones of one another. We all require different tools. Some dive straight in macrobiotics, plunge headfirst in freezing waters and feel invigorated by it. Others need to understand and absorb. One of my utmost priorities amongst others was especially to cultivate the idea of self-acceptance. Accept our uniqueness and the requirement for a unique approach. I was presented with the asthma challenge and had to build up certain tools for that specific situation. I could choose to reject or welcome the help that came along. I chose the latter for all the reasons I mentioned before. But back to the story of understanding the process, at least my process. In addition to all I've mentioned above, it took me many years, many doors to open, to adapt and integrate into my life the idea that another one's plate is not mine. Their ways are not mine. I had to practically visualize a division and keep remembering this is not my food. It felt then right to me. That is what worked for me, and hope it will go on helping me in the future. That is my tool, and I'm sure I will find others on the benches of life, and you will be presented with yours as well. You just have to go halfway, make that first step. So to end this off, I'd like to propose to you the choice of patience. Yeah, that's a big one. There is a saying, It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Be clement, be kind to yourself. Take pleasure in whatever you are busy with in that moment. Give your mind a rest. Simply be, no judgment. Appreciate the walking miracle that you are, we all are, not because of some super skill we have, expertise or heroic acts, but because we all simply are. And we all are here. Only for that you deserve a pat on the back and deserve to call yourself literally a hero, however cheesy that may sound. Ultimately, I'd like to say how truly honored I am to be part of you all in this forum and on this platform. I would like especially to thank Ginette Reis for bringing us together and for the mountain of patience and hard work I imagine is required to make this happen. And now to finish off, for those who enjoy a bit of poetry, I'd like to read to you a short poem I wrote nearly 3 weeks ago. I called it Glitter. I'm a painter in order to decorate and devour life, erasing the urban grayness, creating with every brush stroke a nature out of reach. My soul is a poet, to empty an overflow of joy and sorrow, a tribute to the world and its creator, in appreciation for the miracle that is life, shapes and colors, and its pulse. My kernel wishes to be a pianist, to feel the vibrations of pearly notes falling in a bustling stream and my heart beating in unison. My eye is a photographer because it captures the invisible, brings to the surface attraction to the presumed ugly, sing praises to the offerings of the day, the bouquets of life. I am multifaceted, sometimes letting myself go with the flow, others examining, trading, deliberating, but by dint of contestation, we hide between the pages of these gifts and fall asleep, eyes full of glitter. Thank you very much to all and for listening with patience. I invite you to.
I have two quick things to say. Naomi, I loved your talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sharon, I cannot believe you are even 50. So, okay. Bye.
You know, I can get closer.
Yeah, do that, please.
Thank you, Naomi. Thank you very much. And Sharon, I also live in New Jersey. I can't get my picture in there, but I'd love to be in touch. So I put my email in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank
That's
you.
Carol,
I'm
right?
Carol. I'm in Clark, New Jersey, Westfield. Where are you?
Oh, you know what? I go there every twice a week to get acupuncture from Andy Rosenfarb.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I do know. I know that area.
Okay,
Cool.
let's be in touch.
Yes,
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
It's quite exceptional to hear your in a small version to hear your experience, Sharon, because the minutes you opened your mouth in the beginning, I could feel it, like there were so many similarities.
Feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been to Belgium.
Wow.
Yeah, so that would be a lovely thing to go abroad. I'm mostly just at home in New Jersey.
I think it's, yeah, I've learned how to just appreciate what we have here now.
Yes.
That's, yeah.
I'm with you. I think that we can travel far while we stay in one place.
Precisely.
Within us. We have
Mhm,
that ability.
mhm. Yeah.
I would love to see your photographs. Are they, do you have them online? Your-
Yes, yes. Yeah, actually, I gave my Facebook link.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
I think all you have to do is click on the photo of the forum, and then
Okay.
it goes. Yeah, but it's not. I don't put online my name, so
Ah,
live paintings or it's Summer Greenwoods. I just loved the name, the alternative name, Summer and Greenwoods.
nice. That's
It's
beautiful.
the two things I enjoy most. So yeah,
Yes. I'll look for that. Thank you.
pleasure.